We all know the feeling of getting a splinter. A tiny, jagged piece of wood breaks the surface of your skin and gets lodged where it doesn't belong. Within hours, the area turns red, hot, and swollen. But that throbbing pain comes from your own immune system. Microscopic white blood cells rush in to attack the foreign object, creating a pocket of inflammatory fluid. If you pull the splinter out, the swelling stops. But if you leave it there, the immune battle rages on. This exact sequence, a foreign object getting trapped, followed by a violent immune response, drives the progression of heart disease. In your cardiovascular system, the splinter is a microscopic package of cholesterol. For decades, we pictured heart attacks like household plumbing, grease slowly building up until the pipe eventually clogs. But human arteries do not work like kitchen sinks. Cardiovascular disease is an active immune response to a foreign object. To see how this happens, we need to look inside a healthy human artery. Normally, healthy blood flows smoothly through the space, carrying oxygen and nutrients to the rest of the body. Floating in that current are millions of particles called Apo-B. Apo-B is a specific protein shell that wraps around cholesterol, so the fat can travel through the water-based bloodstream. Because these particles are so small, they can drift out of the main current and crash into the side of the artery. They slip beneath the delicate inner lining and get wedged tight in the cellular matrix. Without this specific trapped Apo-B particle, the disease cannot begin. It is the single required starting point for every plaque that will ever form. But the trapped particle is only the first step. The clinical danger comes from the body's reaction to that particle over time. Cut off from the normal bloodstream, the trapped Apo-B particle starts to rot. It oxidizes, breaking down into toxic chemicals that broadcast a distress signal to the rest of the body. Your immune system treats the rotting fat like a bacterial infection. Highly aggressive, specialized white blood cells swarm the site, burrowing into the artery wall to eat the intruder. But they consume more cholesterol than they can digest. The cells gorge themselves until they burst open, spilling toxic contents and leaving behind sharp, needle-like structures called cholesterol crystals. These crystals physically stab the surrounding tissue from the inside. As more white blood cells arrive and die, a graveyard of cellular debris and jagged crystals builds up. The once smooth artery wall stretches outward, forming a swollen, festering blister. The artery is no longer a passive channel. It has become a site of chronic internal conflict, with specialized cells and jagged debris actively reshaping the vessel wall. Doctors cannot see these microscopic blisters forming during a routine checkup, but they can measure the chemical smoke pouring out of the battlefield. This gauge shows the concentration of a blood marker called HSCRP. High-sensitivity C-Reactive Protein is a molecule the liver releases into the blood whenever there is active inflammation in the body. The HSCRP molecule does not cause the damage to your heart. It circulates in the blood as an alarm bell, indicating that the immune system is currently attacking a site in your artery walls. If your blood test shows elevated HSCRP, your immune system is fighting a trapped splinter. That signal indicates a high risk of a cardiac event, even if your total cholesterol levels appear normal. That risk turns fatal when the pressure inside the blister becomes too great. The delicate cap holding the graveyard of dead cells bursts open, spilling toxic crystals directly into the flowing blood. The body forms a massive clot to seal the rupture. If that clot blocks the artery, it causes a heart attack. For decades, researchers debated why this happened. One camp viewed heart attacks as a cholesterol problem, while the other viewed them as an immune disorder. Modern evidence shows that atherosclerosis requires both elements. First, lipid retention, Apo-B particles getting trapped. Second, inflammatory amplification, the immune system rushing in and making the plaque volatile. Because both elements drive the disease, effective prevention requires a two-punch combo to address both pillars. The first punch drives circulating Apo-B levels down. Lowering cholesterol particles in the blood stops new splinters from entering the artery wall. The second punch uses targeted therapies to calm the immune system and shrink the swelling of existing blisters, lowering your HSCRP. Protecting your heart requires moving past the clogged pipe metaphor. To prevent a heart attack, you must manage both the trapped splinters and the immune fire they ignite.